In 1914, the world was at war. But behind the scenes, something even bigger was happening. Something that would change the way we grow food forever. Factories that once produced explosives were suddenly repurposed, not for war, but for agriculture. They began mass-producing synthetic fertilizers, flooding farms with a new promise: faster growth, bigger yields, and less effort. But in the process, something else quietly disappeared. For generations before World War I, farmers relied on natural systems, methods that built soil instead of draining it. Methods that didn't require chemicals, didn't depend on corporations, and didn't come in a bag. Today, most of those practices are barely talked about, not because they don't work, but because they don't fit the system anymore. These are banned World War I soil hacks corporations prayed you'd never find. Hack number 1. Growing your own fertilizer. Before synthetic nitrogen fertilizers became widely available after World War I, farmers had to rely on nature to supply one of the most important nutrients for plant growth: nitrogen. And they did this using legumes like clover, alfalfa, and beans. What made these plants special wasn't just what you could harvest above ground, but what was happening underground. Their roots formed a partnership with bacteria that could pull nitrogen directly from the air and convert it into a form plants could use. This process didn't require factories, didn't require chemicals, and didn't cost anything beyond time and planning. Farmers would plant these crops, let them grow, and then plow them back into the soil, feeding the land instead of depleting it. Over time, this created a natural cycle where the soil became richer with every season. But once synthetic nitrogen became widely available, this process was seen as too slow. Why wait months when you could just apply fertilizer and get instant results? And just like that, one of the most powerful natural systems for building soil fertility started to fade away from mainstream use. Hack number 2. The closed-loop farm. In the early 1900s, farms weren't divided into separate industries. Crops and animals worked together as part of a single, balanced system. Livestock like cows, horses, and chickens weren't just there for meat or labor. They played a crucial role in maintaining soil fertility. Every day, these animals produced manure, and that manure wasn't waste. It was one of the most valuable resources on the farm. Farmers collected it, composted it, and returned it to the soil, replenishing nutrients that crops had taken out. This created a closed-loop system where nothing was wasted and everything had a purpose. The soil stayed rich, full of organic matter, and alive with microbial activity. But as agriculture industrialized, farms became specialized. Some farms focused only on crops, while others focused only on livestock. This broke the natural cycle. Manure became harder to manage, sometimes even treated as a disposal problem instead of a resource. And in its place, synthetic fertilizers became the go-to solution. A system that once sustained itself was replaced by one that depended on external inputs. Hack number 3. Building soil that lasts for decades. Long before the term biochar became popular, some farmers were already using a similar idea, adding charred organic material into the soil. This could come from burned wood, crop residues, or other plant matter that had been partially turned into charcoal. What made this so powerful was its structure. Charred material is incredibly porous, meaning it can hold water, trap nutrients, and provide a home for beneficial microbes. Instead of nutrients washing away or breaking down quickly, they were stored in the soil for long periods of time. This turned the soil into a kind of living reservoir, one that could support crops even during dry periods or nutrient shortages. And unlike many modern inputs, this wasn't something that needed to be applied every season. Once it was in the soil, it could remain effective for years, sometimes even decades. But again, there was a problem. This method didn't fit into large-scale industrial systems. It required time, understanding, and local materials. There was no easy way to mass-produce it, or sell it in a standardized form. So while it worked incredibly well, it never became a dominant practice in modern agriculture. Hack number 4. Playing the long game. Farmers during the World War I era understood something that often gets overlooked today. Soil is not something you manage for one season, it's something you build over time. Instead of trying to get the highest possible yield every single year, they focused on maintaining balance. They rotated crops, planted cover crops, and sometimes even left fields unplanted for a season. This allowed nutrients to replenish, organic matter to build up, and the soil structure to recover. Over time, this created land that became more productive, not less. But as demand for food increased and industrial systems took over, the focus shifted. The goal became maximizing output every year, on every acre. And practices that required patience, like fallow periods or long rotations, started to disappear. Because in a system driven by short-term results, long-term thinking doesn't always survive. Hack number 5. Understanding that soil is alive. To early farmers, soil wasn't just dirt, it was a living ecosystem. They could see it in the earthworms, in the way organic matter broke down, in how healthy soil smelled and felt. Beneath the surface, billions of microorganisms were constantly at work, decomposing plant material, releasing nutrients, and forming relationships with plant roots. This living network was what made soil fertile. But when agriculture began focusing more on chemical inputs, this biological perspective started to fade. Instead of feeding the soil life, the system shifted toward feeding the plants directly. Over time, this disrupted the natural balance. In many cases, soils became less biologically active, less resilient, and more dependent on external inputs. Because once the living system is weakened, the soil can't function the way it used to. And rebuilding that life takes far more effort than maintaining it in the first place. Hack number 6. Diversity as a strength. Rather than planting vast areas with a single crop, early farmers often grew multiple crops together. Each plant played a role. Some added nutrients to the soil, others provided ground cover, and some helped to deter pests. This diversity created a more stable system, one that could adapt to changes and resist problems. But as machinery became central to farming, diversity became a challenge. It's much easier to plant, manage, and harvest one crop at a time using large equipment. So monoculture, growing a single crop over large areas, became the standard. While it improved efficiency, it also made systems more fragile. Soil nutrients were depleted more quickly, pests spread more easily, and farmers became more reliant on fertilizers and pesticides. A system that was once balanced became simplified. Hack number 7. Letting nature restore the soil. Before modern irrigation systems controlled every drop of water, many farmers relied on natural flooding cycles. When rivers overflowed, they carried nutrient-rich sediments, silt, minerals, and organic matter, and spread them across nearby land. This naturally replenished the soil, restoring what had been lost during previous growing seasons. It was one of the reasons floodplains were some of the most fertile agricultural lands in history. But as infrastructure developed, these natural systems were controlled or eliminated. Flooding was seen as something to prevent, not something to work with. And while this improved predictability, it also removed a powerful natural source of fertility. So instead of receiving nutrients from nature, soils became dependent on external inputs. So were these World War I soil hacks really banned? Not officially, but they were replaced by systems that prioritized speed, scale, and efficiency. And over time, they became forgotten. Yet today, more and more farmers are rediscovering these methods, because they don't just grow crops, they build soil, restore ecosystems, and create resilience. The knowledge was never truly lost, it was just buried beneath progress. Because sometimes, the best solutions are the ones we left behind. So hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video from Gardening Discovery.